Today on Fight Insight podcast, we will have amateur fighter from Fight League Atlantic, James Richardson. Plus, we will talk about the recent PFL Super Fights Battle of the Giants pay-per-view and UFC 308. So, what are we waiting for? Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight podcast.
Our first guest today, he is a FLA, Fight League Atlantic bantamweight, who a little birdie has told me that he will be fighting on the card November 16th at FLA17 in Moncton, New Brunswick, in the Moncton Coliseum. Such a crazy venue, man. This is going to be incredible. I will be there calling the action, and I'm so happy that this man is here. He trains out of Grant's Martial Arts in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. He is also a clinical dietitian. This man is smart, Raine. Don't try to get anything by him. Raine, bring this man in.
Please welcome James Richardson.
Hello.
Hi.
Boom. James, how are you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining the show. Now, we are recording this on Monday. The little birdie and yourself, maybe backstage, have said, we hope that your fight will be announced by the time this podcast airs on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So for those watching, James, let's just pretend we know your opponent. James, yes. And I'll clip this in and we'll make it look cool, Raine. So here, we'll pretend like, James, here's your fight.
I like it.
James, how excited are you, man, to be fighting supposedly at FLA17?
I'm really excited. I mean, I came off of a really nice win back in June in Dartmouth. So I was technically from PEI, but I live here now. So I was a local guy now. But I'm excited, especially too because it's supposed to be for the bantamweight amateur belt. So that's
spoiler alert.
Yeah. But
really,
that's what I heard. Unless it fell through. I mean, I'm open to whatever happens. But
let's check the picture.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's crazy, man. Okay. Well, that is very cool. If that comes true. Now, if the announcement comes out and it's not for a title, this will be very embarrassing for you.
Yeah, I'll be hiding my head for weeks. No, I'm okay. Wow. Whatever happens. I mean, it's amateur, so it's at the end of the day, it's pretty much the same thing, except you get a little piece of metal to put on the wall at the gym. But other than that, I'm happy with whatever.
Dude, a little piece of metal. These Fight League Atlantic belts look very nice, Raine. Like they are very nice belts. And that's nothing to be bashful about, man. That is a crazy big thing. I mean, here's the thing, though. You're 1-0 as an amateur. If you were to successfully obtain a title belt, though, I'm assuming you do not go pro immediately, or do you?
No, I would wait, and it would be nice to still have that. But I am actually 1-1. I had my first fight over 2 years ago, but I took some time between the two, which is probably why you might think. But I am 1-1. But if anything, that gives me even more experience, makes me a better fighter, I think, to have that loss under my belt. I think it's even more valuable than a win sometimes. But yeah, I think I would definitely do at least one more with amateur. I think I have a long career ahead of me. I don't think there's any reason to rush. I mean, it'd be nice to get a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, it's not about the money, right? So
right.
Yeah. So it'd be
tell that to my wife, James. I mean, money's important, my friend. I don't know where you're from, but
money is nice.
I apologize. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I don't know where I saw that I thought that you were 1-0, but yeah, okay. So you are 1-1, both fights under the Fight League Atlantic banner. Here's the deal, James. You fought for Fight League Atlantic January of 2023. I was not an FLA super fan by that time.
Yes, I think that's
my bad, Raine. That's you know what I mean? Yeah, my all the stats for me just start once I became a super fan. That's all, right?
So in your mind, I'm 1-0. So I'm
there. Happy. You go. Yeah. No, and I will say, Raine, though, his first fight, crazy fight. Like it was a slugfest. It was a great bout. Very good performance by you, James. What has changed since that last James Richardson to now?
I mean, so much. Like I mean, I'm only 24. So when I fought, I was 22 years old.
Mm.
And at that point, I was only training. I've only stepped into an MMA gym for a year and a half. So I was still very green then. I just wanted to jump right into it. If you could ask my old coach, compete was the second I started, I was, training 6 times a week. I was just go, 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 go. And I really just wanted to test myself. So I think I just kind of got caught up in the moment then. It's not that I wasn't prepared as a fighter. I think I just, I got in the cage and they shut the door and you're like, oh crap, I'm actually fighting this guy. And then you're just kind of going autopilot. And then my second fight, there's, I think, about 17 months between the two or something like that, which I had over twice as much experience. I knew what to expect, and I also knew what to work on too. My first fight, I was sloppy everywhere in my opinion, but I really got beaten with some of the wrestling that I didn't feel sharp enough with. So since that fight, I did nothing but work on wrestling, takedown defense, also striking too, just to become more well-rounded. And I didn't really get to show off my wrestling in the second fight, but I was just calmer. I knew what to do. I didn't have to rush. I had confidence in myself. I knew I was going to win going in there.
Nice. Congrats, man. Yeah, no, that's incredible. Raine, we had one of your fighters out at Up Next Fighting, Brandon Farnsworth, who's a big guy out there in Up Next Fighting in California, where Raine is, James. And same kind of story. He took his fights very quickly. Like that's crazy that you jumped into the cage that quick. Were you training in martial arts or any kind of combat sports before that? Or were you like a super athletic dude? Why are you so crazy that you would go into a cage so quickly?
Yeah, no, I never did any combat sports growing up. Like I always wanted to box or wrestle, but I never had time. Like I was always an athlete. Like I played soccer, football, track and field. I did triathlons. I did everything. It was just, I don't know, maybe my mom was a little bit protective. She didn't want me in combat sports, but just an interest grew in me, and then I wanted to try it out. And then it's just how I am as a person. I'm all or nothing. So I was like, I think a month into training, I pulled myself back and thought like, oh, do I really want to go all into this or kind of stop? Because I knew there wasn't really any in between for me. And I just clicked in my head. It's like, hey, I want to go as far as I can with this, just because I have that drive to be the best. And so then I just went all in, and here I am now. And I had a year and a half experience, but I might have trained equal to somebody that was training for 3 years, just how often I would go. So
sure. Nice, man. That's crazy. That's very impressive, man. Not only that, Raine, but I know I always say this every time. Fight League Atlantic, crazy organization. The production value is there, the big stage and all that. So to be so early in your career, go on to that FLA stage where it's literally the true bright lights and everything like that. So the shell shock is there and everything. And I really appreciate what you're saying too, James, about hey, a loss just builds me. It's in your amateur career, so it doesn't really hurt you per se. And you get to grow, you get to learn. And I really am someone that believes until you faced a loss, you don't really know what kind of fighter you are. And I maybe people will say I'm stupid for that, but I really think it shows a lot on the character you are to be able to come back from a loss, amateur or pro. In that case, that doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. it affects you, right?
Yeah. And it's I felt like I grew so much, obviously as a fighter, but also as a person. It was obviously I had a lot of pressure on myself going in. I had a lot of friends that came up and watched. I had a lot of family, and I felt like I needed to win. I thought there was no way I could lose this. Usually sports always came really, really quickly to me. I'm used to just catching on very quickly and doing well in the sports. And the guy I fought, Connor Sorson, great martial artist. He had a lot of experience too. I think that was his third fight for that, and he was the better fighter that night. And he beat me, and I remember just being so destroyed the night after, not physically, but just so down on myself. I'm like, oh, how could I let that slip through my fingers? And, I was back training the Monday after the fight. And it was, I just kind of let go of that pressure, because I knew all those people that came and watched me, they didn't really care if I won or if I lost, they were there just to see me, you know, pursue my dreams and put on a show for them. And they were still there to, you know, an hour after the fight to come have a drink with me. Right. So,
yeah. No, of course, man. And that's the thing, you know, like martial arts is martial arts at the end of the day, right? It's not fighting in a parking lot or whatever that Raine is used to doing. It's like, it's martial arts. There's honor, there's respect about it. And all the competitors, you're all seeking that same goal. Now, I said in the intro that you are a clinical dietitian. So you're a smart dude. I know you had told me before when I first spoke to you, like before your second fight, it was that you know, that you help fighters prepare for their fights as well, right? And help them with their meal plans and stuff like that. So that's an incredible aspect of you. Are you still doing that now? Are you helping out your fellow teammates, and how does that help you as a fighter yourself?
Yeah, in terms of what I do for work now, I recently kind of split away from doing the sports dietitian part of it about a month or so ago, just because I was doing both. I was working in the hospital 3 times a week, then twice a week I was being a sports dietitian. But I wanted to move more into the clinical aspect of it, inpatient kind of acute care. Just for the time being, I'll probably go back into sports dietetics. But yeah, I still always will help my teammates as much as I can. Right now, Breton is one of my Breton Maloney. He's also fighting on next FLA card, and I helped him through the weight cut process last fight, and same deal this fight to make sure that he's on weight and without, you know, killing himself in the process. So I always help my teammates any way I can, whether it's through nutrition or just being a good training partner or a friend. Any way I can help, I try to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Raine, this guy's such a professional. I like this guy. He's a good dude.
Professional out of the cage and in the cage.
So smart too.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. Makes me feel bad about myself. James, here's a question. If, let's say it's a Saturday night, right? I finish training in the morning. I'm at home. I'm going to be watching some Netflix with my wife. If I'm going to eat a bag of cookies, what bag of cookies should I eat? What's the best bag of cookies to eat? A full bag, mind you. I'm no wimp, you know.
The best bag of cookies is the one you like the most, because nobody's eating a bag of cookies for the nutritional benefits. So get the one you want. If you're gonna eat it, make sure you enjoy it.
Thank you, James. And to that end, what is your favorite cookie then?
Oh, my favorite cookie. Probably Oreos. I love Oreos.
Oh, nice.
I can eat the whole pack of Oreos.
Lick and dunk it.
Oh yeah, dunking in milk. I love milk too. I'll have like 2 glasses of milk.
Nice. And plain, like regular Oreos, or like there's a million different flavored Oreos. Regular?
Yeah, double stuff. You can't go wrong with double stuff Oreos.
Double stuff. All right, nice. Raine, what is your favorite cookie, Raine?
Well, I like the oatmeal raisin cookie from. Do they sell grandma's cookies in Canada?
Yeah. We have a Dad's, I guess would be Dad's cookies, like the oatmeal raisin. Yeah. That's like the worst cookie on the planet.
I love that one.
The worst. It's terrible. The correct answer was pirate cookies. You know, pirate cookies? The peanut butter ones? Oh my God,
do like
those are so good. Yeah. It's a peanut butter cream and like a oatmeal-ish cookie. That is so good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I live in America. Send me some.
Yeah. There's too many chemicals in it. It can't cross the border.
Yeah.
James, with the weight cut though, it's interesting you say that, because I just watched a video recently and I got into a fight with some people. Who was I fighting with? Let me see if I can figure it out. Whoever, John Anik had Dominic Cruz on his podcast. And he started saying stuff about weight cut. John Anik started saying stuff about weight cutting and about blah, 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 how it's not good or something. And Dominic Cruz, I love Dominic Cruz. He's like, shut up, John Anik. Weight cutting, that's an important part of the sport. What, you want us to be safer in there? We're going into the cage to get killed. Like, why? This is nothing, blah, blah, blah. This is part of the sport. You have to learn how to do this and blah, blah. And so I started defending Dominic Cruz, going, yeah, man, like, nobody is forced to weight cut. You can go up a weight class if you don't want to weight cut. The point is that it's part of it. It's the healthiness of it, not healthiness of it, but like it is what it is. And if you can't do it right, don't do it. But I said, I think the reason why Dominic would be defending is because he's probably figured out the science behind it. He probably knows how to get his body to where it needs to. He probably can do it safely. And so it's no problem for him. And if that allows him to go into the cage a little bit bigger because he's able to weight cut,
Mhm.
so be it. What is your take on weight cutting then? Would you want to see it gone totally, or?
I mean, in a perfect world where like MMA could exist without the need for weight cutting, it would be great, of course, because it does put the body under tremendous strain, especially people that tend to really push the boundaries of weight cuts. But it's just, I don't think there would be any possible workaround. If I know there's other leagues that, or other promotions that put different restrictions around it, like water clauses and things like that. And
That's right.
unfortunately, it just puts extra, additional restrictions on the fighters, and then they end up just doing more extreme workarounds is what
Sure.
it does. It just makes it even more extreme, because if there's any sort of benefit somebody could get, especially in something like fighting where 10 pounds, 5 pounds can make a huge difference, they're going to find a way, because what's far more dangerous than a weight cut is getting your head kicked in or hit in. So you're going to want to try to win, right? So but people that tend to do too much, like somebody that should be in the division, like clearly in the division up, and then they're really over exerting their body for those weight cuts, like that's dangerous, especially if you don't know how to do it. There has been people that unfortunately have passed away, or they just ruin their fight camp, especially in an amateur scene, when these fight camps should be, obviously you're going in to win, but it should also be mainly a learning opportunity. If you plan to go pro eventually, you should be able to have a mind that's sharp during your entire training camp. You should be able to train hard and not be injured, and not just be worried about your weight the entire time. You should be working about honing your skills and, working this camp around your opponent and filling your own holes in this training camp. So that's my take on it. It's something, unfortunately, I don't think will ever go away in fighting sports. It's been around since the start, and it'll probably be here till the end. But you just got to be responsible with it.
Yeah, and what's funny too is, like, when you're talking about other organizations that do it, like, it's ONE FC, right? ONE FC has the hydration clause and whatever. And what's so funny, they all miss weight. They all miss hydrate. Like, ONE FC cards are the worst. Like, half the roster friggin' doesn't make it, right? And you're just like whatever they're doing, it's still not working, because to your point, James, and I love it, people are still going to try to get the advantage. The whole point of the hydration is that just come as you are. Like, just get off the plane and go weigh in. Like, that's it. But no, people are still trying to do stuff, and then they screw it up all the time. And that's why, so you're talking about, you got to do it because if you want to go pro. And I kind of asked it before, but is that your goal? You want to do this? You want to take this all the way? Professional James Richardson?
Yeah, it's just like what I said at the start. It's I'm all or nothing. So I got to keep on going until I feel at least a little bit satisfied with my career, and that involves pro. I don't think I'd be wanting to do this into my 40s or down the line if I want to start a family and things like that. It just eats up way too much of my time. But I'm only 24, so I think it would be hard to imagine I wouldn't eventually go pro.
Nice. Lots of time to do it. Lots of time to achieve the dreams. Do you have? Are you married at all? Are you girlfriend, married?
I have a girlfriend. I'm not married.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And is she supportive of this choice of yours?
Yeah, she's always supportive. I mean, especially in the early stages, she was a little bit uneasy about it, just as much as my mother was, or any of my friends, really. Especially too, because it was like I moved into it so fast, right? People were like, "Oh, you're going to get hurt," or like, "What are you doing?" Like, a lot of people, like, I didn't really feel recognized as a fighter until I got in the cage. I know, you can still be a fighter without stepping in the cage, of course, but I think everybody just kind of thought it was just a hobby until they saw how real it was. So that was nice to kind of eventually be recognized as a fighter. So
man,
she's supportive.
Yeah. Anybody that doesn't doubt you may perhaps on November, late into the evening of November 17th, maybe November 18th, you'll just show them your belt.
I'll show them my belt and say, "Don't me."
Raine, what did you want to ask this Canadian gentleman here?
Now, I have to ask you this, since you are a dietitian, very smart guy. If for some reason there is an opening in the UFC for a sports dietitian, would you take that, or would you rather get in there as a fighter? Not saying that, if you get in as a sports dietitian, you can't be a fighter anymore, but would you rather just kind of stay on track as a fighter?
I like that question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. If I had to choose, like, I had to press a button one way or the other, I think I would choose to be a fighter. I couldn't stand just like watching. I do enjoy like working with fighters with nutrition, but yeah, there's just I wouldn't be able to watch. But you never know what happens.
What about after the pro career is done?
Mhm.
Right? Because, as a fighter, you need to have something after, right, to plan it out
Mhm.
for your life. Would you like to become the sports dietitian for the Performance Institute, the Canadian UFC PI when they make that one day, right? Would it be James Richardson there, former UFC fighter, former champ, 3-division champ, this guy. Clinical dietitian of the UFC PI. Is that something, though, that you would want to pursue later then? Maybe leverage this opportunity you have?
Yeah, I think I'd pursue that down the road. I really like the direction I'm going right now with working with inpatients. I think it's a very interesting field. It's very medical, of course, but there's always a piece of me, and that's what drove me to become a dietitian, was the sports nutrition aspect of it. And I think I'm pretty unique in the fact that I'm a fighter and then also a dietitian. I don't think there's too many fighters that are also dietitians out there. So it's a lot easier to relate and work with these clients because it's a very, very particular sport and type of athlete to work with. And I've worked with dozens of fighters, and it's, they just click with you right away, and they'll listen to you, and you'll understand them a lot better.
Nice, man. I really like it. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's very, very exciting. I don't want to keep you too long. I really appreciate you for coming here, especially because, you're just a few weeks away. Again, guys, Fight League Atlantic, FLA17. Go to fightleagueatlantic.com to get the tickets now. Don't miss out on watching James Richardson possibly fight for a belt. Again, by the time this comes out, we'll know, but I gotta be careful right now, James. I don't want to be spreading fake news, James, for the people that don't know you yet, or the people that are just meeting you for the first time, what is something interesting about you, or something that people don't maybe know or wouldn't know about you, aside from everything we've already revealed today?
Somebody that won't know about me. I'm a really big nerd, honestly.
Yeah?
Huge nerd. Like I love like fantasy, Lord of the Rings, video games, World of Warcraft, Magic the Gathering. Oh, I just love that stuff. That's a whole other spectrum of me. So
nice.
Are you familiar with Magic the Gathering at all? Like the card game?
I have. Okay, you want to know how bad I am of a nerd? Where's my Magic the Gathering stuff? Hold on. I don't have it here. I don't have it here, but you know what I hope that nobody's watching this podcast right now, actually. You know what I'm playing now with my wife, man? Because I can't get her to play Magic the Gathering. Can you get your girlfriend to play Magic the Gathering with you?
Oh, no, but I spread the sickness onto all my friends that, like, back home. I have like 6 friends. I got it hooked on it.
Right, but do any of them have girlfriends? Because the minute you get a girlfriend, that game is done.
She tolerates it. She knows I just do what I want. So she doesn't that much of a fuss.
Right. Sure. Yeah. The game that I've got my wife to play, though, and this is where, like, relationship goals here, James Richardson. This is my goal, was, to find a game that my wife would play. The new Disney game, Lorcana.
Oh, yeah.
Are you playing that?
No, but I've heard of it. Magic eats up all my money.
I know, but it's pretty good, man. It's
it?
like Magic the Gathering, but it's Disney. It's good, man. It's a good game, and I'm playing it with my wife. I'm getting her semi-hooked, so she's playing it, enough that it cures my itch, scratches my itch.
Scratches my itch.
Yeah.
It's just a stepping stone to get into Magic eventually.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, man. I have one final question that I want to ask you. It's a question that we ask all our guests, and so I want to ask it to you. On a scale of 1 to 10, James Richardson. It's a question my mom used to ask me almost every day of my life growing up. Speaking of nerd. On a scale of 1 to 10, James Richardson, how happy are you?
How happy am I? I'd say I have a pretty good life. I'll say 9. I don't never be fully fulfilled, but I'm pretty happy. Yeah.
Nice, man. And what do you attribute to happiness, or what makes you happy, or what's important in your life? Like, that gets you to a 9, right? Like 9 is a very good score.
Yeah. Yeah, I think lately, especially this last year, I've had a lot of good things come my way. Like I recently finished up school. I have a really good job now. I have a nice place to live. I have a great relationship. I have a lot of friends that care about me, and I have a really fulfilling sport that fills up a lot of my time and gives me a lot of drive. And I have a lot of things to look forward in my future. So I think it would be arrogant of me to say that I don't have a good life, because I think it's better than what a lot of people can say. So, yeah, I'm just count my blessings, I guess.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Good, man. I'm happy for you, buddy. I'm excited for you. Again, guys, November 17th, Saturday, November 17th. Get your tickets now at fightleagueatlantic.com. If you don't live near Moncton, New Brunswick, the flights are so cheap, man. Just fly into New Brunswick, have a hell of a time, enjoy the show. It's a stacked card. Boy, oh boy. Like the fights that are on this card, James.
Yeah,
you have
it's a
Bretton
stacked
Maloney
card.
fighting on your team. Anyone else from your gym fighting on the card?
He's the only other one from my gym.
Just you and Bretton? All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, I wish the two of you luck, man. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you at the weigh-ins. Things will be good, man. I'm very excited to see you compete again. Good luck in your bout, and say hello to everybody back at your gym for us.
I will. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Raine, that is the man, James Richardson. What a cool dude, man. Very, very cool.
I know. Very well spoken.
Yeah. I might have to play.
Smart and polite.
I might have to play some Magic the Gathering with him after. You know what I mean? I gotta
This
find
is
my
bad.
dad.
But when you guys first started talking about Magic the Gathering, I was like, is that a movie or like a book?
No.
I live under a rock, so
No, it's not that you live in a rock. It's that you're a female, and you're like, no, this is terrible. Go away. But yeah, all right, guys. So I apologize. We were supposed to have Rafion Stotts, who my whole goal was I was going to introduce to James, and it was going to be bantamweight to bantamweight. So I don't know where he is. He hasn't messaged me back. Raine, I'm getting sick of these guests that ghost us. You know what I mean?
There's gotta be a good reason.
It's been like a few though of late, which has been annoying. But let's get to the point that I was going to make, especially with Rafion. Okay, because now I don't know that he's going to come and whatever, so I don't want to waste this, and it's timely. Today they announced, Raine, the PFL super fight card with Francis Ngannou, the greatest pay-per-view of all time. If you were Don Davis, he said it's the greatest card of all time, blah blah blah, right? Whatever. Dana White's there sitting laughing at him at the next event, like chuckling away that this thing is garbage. The number of pay-per-view buys, Raine, was announced. Boom, by this guy, Jed I. Goodman on X. The reports we got were the buys were just over 10,000 on ESPN Plus. 10,000 buys, Raine. I think that's just the domestic number. I don't know what that means. I don't know that anybody knows what any of these numbers mean. I did respond to him saying, do you have another number for me to compare this to? But I think UFC buys are in the 500,000 plus, upwards to 1 million on the good ones, right?
But those buys, were those just from the US or just worldwide? Because from that tweet, I don't know if the domestic buys mean just in the United States. And was the pay-per-view available to be purchased in other countries too? So that might have played some factors in the amount of pay-per-view sold.
I don't know. I responded back to the guy saying, do you have any number for me to compare this to? Because what the hell's a UFC number? So I can understand, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no answer, and I don't know. But it's not good. The fact that the Post is saying that, 10,000. Ngannou's pay is supposed to be 2 million plus, right? If you remember all the media stuff. So he's paid 2 million plus. He had said when it was him with the UFC that he wanted his opponent guaranteed 1 million or above. So let's assume 3 million for him and Renan Barao or Renan Ferreira. Minimum 3 million. Then you had Cyborg. She's gotta be 1 million, I would think. kind of got to be. And then you had everyone else on the card, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a massive bomb of money that you made nothing on.
I mean, maybe they got a lot of money from, from some people in Saudi Arabia. Because it seems like it's the season of Riyadh, so I feel like
What
they're
does that
enjoying.
mean?
I think that's like a celebration of like tourism in like in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh.
So all different sports events are part of the season of Riyadh, right? Yeah, because you see that.
So. I
Okay,
think
okay.
so.
Yeah.
Because I think where was UFC 308?
The one that just happened?
Yeah, where was that? Was that like in like Saudi Arabia too?
Yeah, wasn't it?
I think so. And then I feel like weeks ago there was like a big boxing event also in Riyadh. So I feel like this is around the time we're in like.
It was in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, in Abu Dhabi. Okay, so it's all like in Saudi Arabia. So it's like I feel like around this time is when like Saudi is just like throwing in all the money.
Abu Dhabi is in the United Arab Emirates. Is that Is that Saudi?
And so is Riyadh. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't even know my own geography in Canada, let alone like other places. But whatever. All I'm saying is 10,000 buys. That's a bomb. That's a failure. I don't like. Because you got to be promoting to the U.S. audience, right? The U.S. Canada, fine, but the U.S. audience has to be one of your primo targets. And if you can't capture that audience, if you can only sell 10,000 pay-per-views on your main biggest card with Francis Ngannou, how on earth are you selling any other card? How are you selling PFL Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Who's buying this crap? Or like, that's really bad because now you could say like, oh, television stations, please show PFL Africa on your networks, pay us whatever. Don't worry, we'll get Francis Ngannou to promote it, and it will be a success. Yo, Francis Ngannou fought on your card, and you got 10,000 buys. Like,
although, like, I don't know,
fighting.
The problem is like, because it was on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, and I there might be a confusion too. Was it on ESPN Plus pay-per-view? Was it on DAZN? And the
if
time
you wanted to
view probably played a factor as well.
Raine, you can't say that stuff. If you were someone that was sitting there and wanted to buy the pay-per-view, you'd figure it out. Right?
True.
Like, and if you wanted to buy the pay-per-view, whether it's nighttime or daytime, like we're not talking like in those stupid ones in like when it's in Australia or something, and it can be a really weird time where it's like 2 a.m. for like people in certain places. It's not like that. It's like this was a reasonable time. I don't think it was crazy. Let alone, who cares? It's Francis Ngannou. It's the return of the king. It's blah, blah, blah.
True. I think out here in the U.S., it was around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon because I remember seeing it. However, it's on a Saturday here in the U.S., which around that time, there's a lot of college football going on too. So I feel like there's so much like competition going on. And I get what you're saying about, hey, if you're really invested in this, you're going to pay for the pay-per-view, whatever.
Yeah.
But the other factor here, I think, is there's so much competition around that day and time of the
Doesn't matter. It's a bomb. PFL is in massive trouble. It's crazy. It's massive trouble. It's in trouble. Yeah, I don't know. Like I predicted at the end of last year that ONE FC was going to go bankrupt by the end of this calendar year. I mean, I'm still maybe in the running, but it's not looking good. I mean, they're still holding their events and stuff, but there's lots of drama around ONE FC and President Awesome. Where the fuck are you, President Awesome? Where are you? Get on this podcast. We're still waiting to talk to you. We've got so much.
I thought he responded to you. Didn't he respond to you?
Yeah, he did respond to me, Raine. But now he's like AWOL again, so I don't know where he is. But he's a busy man. President Awesome is all over the place doing his things. But what else should I put up here? I do want to say, make sure I didn't put up Mr. Richardson's
Instagram. There we
Go
go.
follow him. He is at James_Richardson06. If you're here watching the podcast because of James Richardson, thank you so much. Please follow and subscribe to us. Check out all our past interviews. It's been crazy interviews. A ton of FLA guests, of course, always, right? And Friends of the Podcast update. I guess I should do that, Raine. What do I have for Friends of the Podcast update? I know that obviously Fight League Atlantic 17, FLA17. I've said it 1,000 times already this podcast alone. Go watch it. FightLeagueAtlantic.com. Support young Canadian athletes. Incredible. I think there's some from the US on this card. It's going to be a great fight. Like, holy moly, this is going to be a good card. There are some banger matchups, Raine. I think both guys, the last event that I commentated, there was one knockout in 12 seconds and one knockout in 18 seconds. Both those guys are fighting again. So I'm like,
wow.
Can't wait to, how are you going to top that last performance, right? Like, so big events there. If you want audio podcasts, go check out RageWorksNetwork.com. Go find audio podcasts like us, RageWorks Network. Thank you to them. Raine, any of our...
We're also on Millions.
We're on Millions, of course. Raine, you and I have been doing lots of interviews on Millions. We've been doing different interviews with different fighters. I've been doing a lot of karate combat fighters.
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of karate combat. Those guys are very cool. They're very crazy. A lot of guys that train with President Awesome at the Goat Shed, of course, because he's the president of karate combat. So, you know, a lot of his fighters are into that organization. But those are some killer fighters, man. I love those dudes. And you've been doing a lot of interviews as well. Your experience on Millions, you're liking it?
I love it. I love the platform. I love how easy it is to just do my interviews on Millions. And I love how I get those sound bites that I can post on my social media. So please check us out on Millions. You got Fight Insight podcast on Millions. You also have The Rain Check hosted by me on millions.co. So please do check us out. And then we have the merchandise.
Technically, maybe that's where you're watching this podcast right now. You might be watching it on Millions. So, of course, you're probably like, yeah, I know you're on Millions, you idiot. I'm right here right now watching it. And of course, you can get our shirt on Millions. The merch is there as it is with all their athletes, but there's our shirt. It's very good quality. Like, very good quality. Much better quality than the ones that I sold people before. But and the logo is much bigger on the shirt. I like it. So it fills the shirt.
We also have UNF 21 on November 30th.
Yes.
Yep. Please check it out. Go to upnextfighting.com or find us on Instagram at upnextfighting. Friend of the podcast, Sean Rowland, will be on that card. Brendan Farnsworth, he's going to be fighting in his first ever title shot. Gianni Vasquez will be fighting as well. So we got a bunch of friend of the podcast fighting in the UNF 21 card. So please don't miss it. UNF 21 live right here in Los Angeles, California, November 30th.
It's very cool. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a great card. That's going to be the week after. No, 2 weeks after.
2 weeks after.
I'm on the 17th, so 2 weeks after. Okay, so we'll have some time, but that's going to be crazy. It's going to be very exciting. What else do we have? Here's the thing. I did not plan really any topics because I thought we were going to have two guests. So it was all
I'm going to ask you a question, Tim.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So, were you sad that Max Holloway lost at UFC 308?
Well, he ruined my parlay. So I did not make money. So my wife and I had to split a steak for dinner. Sad because I don't like Ilya. Like I just don't like him as a person per se. But I think it's better for the sport, to be honest, that Ilya wins because Max has been there and done that. And I think that by Ilya doing what he did, devastating fashion, definitive win. I think it moves that division forward. Okay, so now what's next? Now, like, where does he go next? Who's the next contenders? What are you going to do next? So I do like it for that respect. I think that, you definitely don't want to do like a stupid Brendan Moreno versus Figgy 5-time fight, right? Like, I don't need to see two guys just battling it out back and forth. forever for a year and a half, you know? So like, yeah, get the win, move on, and now we get the next contender. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that we need the next guy. So, yeah. Here's the question to you. Why
Yeah.
is he not the BMF title holder?
Well, I think the only title that was on the line was the featherweight title.
Why?
That I don't know. That's what I was
nonsense,
thinking.
stupid.
Like, what? But I thought it would be really cool, right? Because he had a title too. He had the BMF title, and then Ilya has his own title. I thought, man, that would be cool if like both titles are on the line, but I guess not.
So the problem is it now almost creates a paper champion of the BMF title. Like, really, Max, you're now going to go defend the BMF title after you just got laid out? So it's very weird. This is the problem with having the BMF title in general, or it's the problem of having the BMF champion fight for a belt, because you never want to unify your titles. And the BMF belt is meant to be weight indifferent. Like, it's not, the BMF title isn't tied to a weight class. Like, Max went up to fight for it at lightweight, I think, right? Didn't he? However it went, because when you fought, because Gaethje is a lightweight, so I think they fought at 155. So it's like that belt can kind of move weight classes depending on who has it. So for him fighting a guy and then losing but not putting it up for defense is very weird. Like, there was no reason it shouldn't have been. And that's why I like that Ilya went to the post-fight conference with a pretend BMF belt. Did you see that? Like, he had like a replica belt. I don't know how he had that.
Okay, that's funny.
So he's just holding both, and he's like, "No, I'm the BMF champ." Like, I mean, obviously you're the BMF champ, but the problem is you can't have the BMF champ unified, because then that can never switch weight classes.
I see. Okay.
So there's a little bit of a marketing problem, Raine. This is why UFC needs to hire me, because you got to figure that shit out. You got to. I mean.
We got to start with Dana White unblocking you first.
Yeah, unblock me, and then. But yeah, like that's a problem, though. In all honesty, like, that's a problem. I didn't like that. What did you think about Whittaker's teeth?
His teeth.
Robert Whittaker.
No, I thought it was something about his jaw.
Yes, but it was but it was like that. His 3 front teeth, like, just freaking like smashed right in, right? Like,
no, I didn't even know that. I thought there was something about his jaw.
You didn't see the photos?
No, I don't want to see it now.
You're terrible. Oh, it's disgusting. The photos are terrible. Like, you gotta see that photo. You didn't see it?
No. I just heard about the dislocated jaw, possible dislocation of his jaw.
My goodness.
But I didn't hear about the teeth.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Robert Whittaker jaw was like one of the most trending searches on Google.
Oh my God. If it's bad, I'm not going to look it up. I feel bad for him.
It's really bad. Hold on. Here we go. Ready?
Ah!
It's horrible. Like, it's like your whole like bottom gum or something just like shot back. Oh God.
What's when I saw UFC 308, I was actually at UNF's content day, right, for UNF 21. And it was actually cool to watch the pay-per-view with the fighters, because you're looking at they're the future at the fight game, watching, their future, basically. They want to be in the UFC. And I remember when Robert Whittaker started tapping out, they're like, "Oh my God, he tapped out quick. Something must have happened, blah, blah, blah." And then I just heard the announcers talk about how he possibly have, dislocated his jaw.
Right. Yeah.
And then, going into the main event, when Ilya Topuria knocked out Max Holloway, like, just a reaction of like the guys, and just like being in that environment of like seeing these guys who know like the fight game, like watch the main event. It was really cool.
Yeah. Nice. No, it's cool. It's it's a different vibe, obviously, like when you're watching fights with people too. But yeah, to do it with people who
actually
are looking
fight,
at
right?
and they're looking at it as like, but I'm gonna be there one day. Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's
because what the funny thing was, they're probably watching it, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna be in there one day. And I'm doing the same thing, because I see Bruce Buffer announcing, I'm like, I'm gonna be there one day too.
Nice. Yeah, of course. I mean, They should have put you in that PFL super fight card. I'll tell you that.
What to fight?
No, to be the announcer for the
ready.
PFL super fight
Okay.
card. Or you could have fought. I mean, you couldn't have made the pay-per-view any worse. That's for sure. Like, but no, there's so many things I wanted to talk about PFL. I feel like we're never going to touch on it now. Sorry to go back to it quickly, but yeah, but you're saying like you should have been the friggin' announcer for that thing, because what they did was they brought in the Bellator guy.
Oh, Michael C. Williams. Yeah, he's actually
Yeah.
one of my mentors. I love him.
Okay. Well, I won't say anything bad about him then. But they bring him in. The whole look of it looked very Bellator-ish. And then with him being there, I'm like, oh, so this is a Bellator card. Like,
it felt like a Bellator fight.
yeah. And that's it's not a bad thing to him, or it's not a bad thing to Bellator, because I do love I think Bellator is way better than PFL. But for it to be the PFL super fight was very strange. And then I'll just put it up now. Who cares? Okay. Here's the card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on audio only, I'm showing the card from the prelims and as well as the main event. There were 20 fighters on the card. There were 5 fights in the prelims, 5 fights in the main event. We all know that it was headlined by Ngannou and Ferreira.
Mm-hmm.
Raine, you did some data, but it was wrong.
It was wrong. Okay.
How many of the fighters, of the 20 fighters on this card, at least here, I think 2 of them didn't fight, but whatever. How many of the fighters on this card as it stands had fought in the PFL before this card? How many?
I don't know. Probably like 3.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, see, you're only saying this because you did some research.
What?
There they are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
5 of them, but 2 of them had only fought once before. So really, this card had like 3, maybe 5 out of 20 fighters. You had less than 25% of your card were actual PFL fighters, which is so baffling to me, because you had fighters like friend of the podcast Sadibou C.
Mm-hmm.
You had friend of the podcast Jenna Bishop. You had PFL fighters who were in the seasons before, who were kind of name brand people who could have brought some eyes to it. I don't know why you didn't have any PFL people that we knew, let alone, Raine, the people on that card. The rest of them, they were either Bellator fighters or fighters from like any other organization, Cage Warriors, Octagon, whatever. How do you call this a super fight pay-per-view? You know what I mean? How is this the super fight division? And that's where I wanted Rafion Stotts to come on and go, like, Rafion, how did you get picked for this card? First of all, why are you on it? It's amazing he's on the card. And again, he's never going to come. So I'm just going to show the photo now. But like, he had one hell of a time. Dude's riding camels, like feeding hawks, doing whatever he's doing. Like,
I know what happened to him now. He's probably stuck feeding like hawks right now. It's quite entertaining. So I mean, I can't blame him for missing this podcast. If you're riding a camel and feeding hawks, I mean, that's fun.
I mean, I can blame him because he said he's coming. But anyways, I don't know. It's just so weird, this whole thing. I mean, PFL is going bankrupt. You know what I mean? Like, how can you possibly? Anyways, now I'm just back in a circle to where I was. But yeah.
Honestly, for me, I think, if they're doing shows in Saudi Arabia, I think it's big for PFL. Because I feel like, they probably are getting some, Saudi money. I don't know, but like the fact that that's their investors. Yeah. So that's helpful for them. So I think right now it's a good time for PFL to kind of like figure out, okay, like what's really our strategy, right? Kind of like
your strategy is nothing.
Well, they're trying to figure it out. Like,
your strategy is failure is your strategy, because you're running Bellator into the ground. Like, you bought Bellator and you've done absolutely nothing with it. It's a total failure. Like, worse than before. Bellator is literally worse than what it used to be, which is incredible because it went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
It's done absolutely nothing for you. And PFL is bombing too. You hyped up the world to say that this Raine and Ferreira guy was like the second coming of Jesus. He's like the greatest fighter. he's a monster. He's going to take Ngannou, blah, blah. And then he loses in like a minute and gets murdered. And now, if you look at the PFL heavyweight tournament that's going on now, like the finals is like in November or whatever. Who the hell are these guys? I don't know. Like, I'm sure they're lovely people, and I'm sure they deserve all the happiness in the world. But like that winner, you cannot sell me that guy's going to fight Ngannou now. Like, that ship has sailed. Right? Like, you can't take the next heavyweight winner and convince the same 10,000 people to buy another pay-per-view. No, it's over. Like, that ship is gone too. So it's going to take you forever to find an opponent for Ngannou unless you pay Jake Paul to fight him.
I mean, who knows? Maybe.
And then how much money are you going to pay Jake Paul? You're going to pay him $10 million to fight freaking Ngannou too? Like, where does this money's got to run out? It's got to run out. And by doing this, you're not helping the younger fighters on the card. Rafion Stotts is friggin' 21-2. Like, he's kicking ass in his career, man. He's kicking ass in his career. He needs a title to fight for. He needs things to go for. Like, he needs, right? But cards need to be built. Like, you need fighters. Like, woo, terrible. Raine, any other questions for me before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it. Wait, no, actually, I do have a question for you. You talked a lot about PFL. What if they call you right now, Tim, and ask you, hey, Tim, you want to commentate for us?
PFL is the greatest organization in the world. You understand? PFL is changing the game. The smart cage is the best idea on the planet. I love it. The everything, the production, the fighters, the promotion, beautiful. PFL, greatest organization in the world. What was your question, Raine? What was your question, Raine? I forgot.
Are you available to fly out to Saudi Arabia?
I am packing my bags right now. I'll see you. Yeah, Raine, of course. I'll do anything. I'm a terrible person. I'll do it. But here's the thing. Honestly, hire Raine and Timmy B. Hire Vanessa Campos, right?
Yeah.
You got to do something. You got to freshen the crap out of it and just hope that, like, at least it looks like a brand new product, that's something like whatever. Because I just feel like it's, I don't know. Here's something I'm going to say. During the PFL, it's just like a PFL shitting podcast now.
No, it's not.
When they were at Saudi Arabia or wherever they were for the card, United Arab Emirates. Where was it? No,
PFL was in Riyadh.
Riyadh, right?
Yeah.
So they're outside and they're doing the ceremonial stare downs or whatever. And so, there's always like a promotional guy in the middle that like holds the belt or like pretends that he's like that his one palm would be able to stop these two fighters from killing each other. It's Dan Hardy, who I love. Like, I wish he could come on the podcast. He's like one of my favorite fighters and one of the best commentators in the world. Dan Hardy. He's doing it. And he's cool as hell. He's got a cool haircut. He's wearing his red glasses, whatever. The guy looks cool as hell. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And I could not look away. Like, I couldn't stop, like, looking at his shorts. And I'm like, why is this guy wearing shorts to the weigh-ins? Like, you're the guy. And I get it. It's hot. But figure something out.
I don't know. I feel like weigh-ins is usually like a chill day.
No. What do you mean it's a chill day? It's no, you can't be wearing shorts, Raine.
I mean,
if you're a grown man, right? And you're doing anything other than like going to a beach, you shouldn't be wearing shorts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be wearing shorts to go to the mall. Like, like, just, I don't know.
Really? Oh my God.
I don't know. You're not like a homeless person. Like, just just look deep. You're getting photos taken of yourself. Like, you're not going to a picnic. Like, I don't know. It was like shorts, like cargo shorts. It was just very strange. And I love them.
Maybe he wasn't supposed to do it, right? And then
that might have been it.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a last minute. Hey, we got no one to do this. Can you just?
Yeah, because I don't think you're like, hey, honey, because he's married to Veronica Macedo, who's like an incredible UFC fighter. Every time she fights, I make a lot of money because I bet on her every time. I can't see him waking up going, hey, honey, I'm going to do the weigh-ins. I'm just going to get dressed for the weigh-ins, okay? And then you pull out shorts. I would think like Veronica would be like, hey, honey, like, can you put on something better than the shorts. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible. Anyways, okay. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. That's my last thing. Raine, I do want to say something as well. I think the podcast is ending.
You think so? Like right now? Because we're on like what? We've been recording for 55 minutes.
No, I think I'm going to put a hiatus on the podcast.
Okay.
I've been thinking about it a long time. Not a long time. I've been thinking about it for like 3 years about stopping the podcast.
And you kept going.
Just keep going, and it never ends. And here's the thing. I got to like, year 1, and then I got to year 2, and then I got to year 3. And everything's been going amazing. But I feel like we've done so much. Like, done so much. And I don't know what else there is to do. Like, now you and I are both doing our millions. We're both like, well, obviously I met you because you're a kick-ass cage announcer. I'm doing the commentating, and I love it to death. And I pray to God if I stop the podcast that I still get invited to the commentating.
Well, you're doing millions, so that's. And
good. I'm doing the millions, and the millions is cool too, And I hope the millions doesn't stop letting me do that if I stop the podcast. But it's just like, I don't know, Raine. Here's the other thing. I feel like we talk about stuff that no one else talks about, but we can't get. For some reason, we're not getting the publicity. And I don't know why, because I feel like we do a good job. Do you know that last week we had a guest on that told all about the UFC lawsuit? A lawsuit that had been 10 years in the making. The less than 24 hours after we record, it settles. It reached preliminary settlement, and it was done.
Wow.
People are messaging me. They're like, holy shit, Tim, it just settled, blah, blah. So I released the podcast early so that people can see it. I had some friends of mine and stuff like that. They were saying, put the podcast out now. I want to understand what this is about. Crazy timing, right? We do the podcast about Sage Northcutt possibly being kidnapped and dead in Japan. A week later, he gets released by ONE FC and blah, blah. Like, the storylines that we have covered have like freaking been so timely. Right, I talked to the Sleek Sheik, Sabah Homasi, about Bellator screwing him over and not paying for his medical bills. A week later, they pay him not the full amount, but they paid him like a chunk of it. Like, covering all these stories that no one else is covering, but all people care about is the same shit. They just want to see the same photo of Robert Whittaker's teeth. They want the same photo of Ilia Topuria holding it. And I don't want to do that. Like, I want to create unique stuff. But it's so hard, and I just feel like I've been doing it so long. So I think my goal right now is to go to episode 201. 201.
What are we on now? 201?
195. Yeah. We're at 202. Get this freaking thing out of here. I think Raine, I'm gonna put it on hiatus at 201.
Okay.
We'll finish 201 with our last episode being like a year in review. With like some year in review awards, you know what I mean? Like that we would always do. We did our award show. You missed it last year, though.
I missed it last year. I don't know what I did. Where was I? I don't know.
Disneyland, probably.
Probably. That's the reason why I'm not here, by the way. I'm at Disneyland.
Yeah. That's like 99% of the time. So yeah. That okay, Raine?
I mean, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
We're asking our listeners right now, is that okay for you guys? Let us know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to stop at 200 because that seems lame.
Okay, we got to do it at 201.
You know what I mean? Because then you go like, I did the podcast for over 200 episodes.
There you go.
Then
you're not lying there.
Exactly. Right. And I'm not saying forever, but I'm just saying like go on hiatus. And then wait and see what happens, or if the market turns, or something. I also feel like a little not burnt out, but it has bothered me a lot that guests have like not shown up.
No shows
lately. Like not lately, but like over time, it also seems like people are less committed.
Yeah, we're still looking for Chuck Buffalo.
Hold on. Chuck Buffalo. Okay, this is like we're right in.
He better show up before episode 201.
Yeah. Chuck Buffalo's coming on. Do you understand? Chuck Buffalo and I are like kind of buddies now. We talk here and there. No, we not. But like he'll message back. Like if I message now, he will message back. So I know I'm on his radar. I've said to him, yeah, because where is Chuck Buffalo? That I mean, if he could be our last guest, that would be like, I mean,
we've been looking for him, and now he shows up on our last episode.
For us, you know, like for us, it would be a funny story to end it. Yeah, like my last message to him said, pardon my language, okay? But it said, hey man, when you fuck this guy up and get the win, I want you on the podcast. I'm reaching out and we're doing it. I'm reaching out after this to set it up. And he goes, we will get it done.
Okay.
Like, and then anytime I like message on his stuff or anything, he's always responding to me. I feel like it's set. So when is his next fight? It better be before episode 201. Hold on. Charles Radke. Let's see. Next fight is November 9th.
November 9th. Oh, that's coming up.
November 9th is like
in 2 weeks, because
2
that's
weeks
before I go on vacation.
Yeah. So then, yes, you're not here that following episode,
Monday, yeah.
Right? So I would book him for 2 weeks after his win, which is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, which would be like probably like our last episode before our end of year episode. He has to win the fight. You know what I mean? Like he has to win the fight. That's the freaking killer, is that he has to win the fight. But I know he will because he's goddamn Chuck Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's it. But Raine, that's it. Guys, we are out of here. Thank you, Raine, for everything.
Oh, thank you as well. I'll see you again next Monday.
Next week.
I'm not going to Disneyland next Monday, so I'll be here.
We'll see. With guests to be determined. Guests to be determined. We will figure it out. There is one person for sure that I want who's coming back, who was supposed to come on today as well, but they were traveling. So I'm thinking next week I'm going to see if I can get them on. They're traveling right now as we speak. All right, Raine, we are out of here. Thank you, everybody.